Hey, are we starting?
We're live.
Hey, all right.
Cool.
Today is a Friday, and how you know it's Friday is I'm wearing a party shirt.
It's bitching.
I got my party shirt on.
I wear a party shirt every
I have
Friday.
a keep me warm shirt on. It's chilly.
Very nice. You look great.
Thank you.
That's been a common thing. It's been commented as how cold it is.
It's a little chilly back here. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
I've just
actually-
held my burp in proc.
It's surprisingly actually warm in here, I have to say, for the temperature outside. In conclusion, we're going to begin. My name is Jeremy. I'm with the Mama Tried Flat Out Friday podcast. I have here Warren Heyer Jr.
Hey guys.
and we have Carlos,
How you guys doing?
who we're going to meet here in just a little bit. So hold on to your hat here, Carlos. We're gonna meet you in just a second. We'd like to give a little housekeeping before we begin and give up to date on what's going on with the Mama Tried show.
We
Warren,
can't give the exact time and date of this location, all right?
No one knows where we are, and I don't even know when it is.
Not at all.
But do you have an update? Anything you want to say? Anything burning you want to tell people about?
Yeah,
Mama Tried?
we need to sell some tickets. So let's go.
Do you keep track of tickets?
Yeah, we keep track of tickets. It's the first time we've ever sold them on our own website, so we're managing that and trying to stumble through marketing and online website sales is weird and difficult. And
Wait a minute. So the rave. Does the rave sell its own
you
tickets?
can buy them at the box office, yeah. But we also have the ability to buy them with us online too. So it helps us get the word out more. So they have their clients, we have ours.
I hate to zoom in on this and stop the momentum we have here, but I gotta zoom in. So you're selling tickets separate from the rave, or are they all, you're selling them for the rave? Does
For
this
the
make
rave.
sense?
Together. We're a team.
Right. Okay.
They get money, we get money.
Okay.
Rave.
So you're keeping track of what you're selling, or you know what the total sales are?
No, we keep track of what we're selling because we have to manually mail them out to everybody.
Okay.
And then the rave also keeps track of and this is the first time we've done it, so I have no idea what to expect or how many tickets should be sold by now. But it always helps to get them moving, and it helps us fund what we have to do. It's a big nut to.
Right. I don't think people understand when doing an event, we pay for everything and then hope people show up.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Legs
That's
crossed.
that's the gamble that we take.
Just
But,
lay your dick out on the line and see how
Sometimes you got
see
to.
who gets smashed.
yeah. And also, I say this during the riders meeting, just because we handle a lot of money doesn't mean we make a lot of money,
Exactly.
right? So people think that
It's
I
a
can
labor
get in,
of
I
love.
can sneak in, because
That hurts a lot.
it does hurt. Yeah. And we invest everything we have for the hope that the doors will open and people will buy tickets enough to sell. What
I
we
still
spent.
have every time I come in Saturday morning before to get to set up and get going, I always have these butterflies. Like, man, I wonder if anybody's gonna show up.
Sure. I want to go back to tickets. Flat Out Friday tickets. I've kept track of all of the events we've ever sold tickets and where we are in the timeline. And Flat Out Friday is actually doing really well.
Good.
I think there's a lot of stoke for
great.
Flat Out Friday.
There should be, man.
ticket
It's
sale.
I keep saying that Flat Out Friday should overshadow Mama Tried, and it's a wild time and it's a very unique time. It's worth seeing, and we just have to figure out how to get a hold of them, the circus ticket buying folks, and spread the word.
Yep. Well, our marketing, we have a marketing meeting on Monday with the Pfizer to go through our marketing plan to get those people there. But I want to just quick stop and talk about tickets just real quickly. If you're Flat Out Friday tickets, we have a link on our website and our social media. It's called the Super Saver link, and that actually you buy it through the Milwaukee Bucks. You buy tickets to the Milwaukee Bucks, not through Ticketmaster. So it actually ends up being $33 a ticket, $33 for a $26 ticket. Every time we've ever done this, Warren, for the last 7-8 years together, we never knew what tickets cost.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, tickets are $33 bottom line if you buy through that. If you buy through Ticketmaster, it's smoke.
Yeah.
In
Yeah, there's
mirrors.
quite a few fees that go on there. It basically doubles our ticket, right?
I looked up. I did one ticket. One $20 ticket for Flat Out Friday is $42 to the consumer.
More than double. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's bananas. And then we don't even get the 20.
Right.
Right? Ticketmaster charges us to even be there. But
Yeah.
that's politics. I don't want to talk about that because we've got Carlos here and he's got shit to do. But I want to remind you before and at the end of every one of these podcasts to please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Hit the bell ding.
Is it bell on there?
Hit the
I
like
think so.
button. That's
Like
what they
button
always say.
and there's
Hit
a
the
ding.
like button.
There's a bell. I think,
There is a
too.
bell.
I don't understand what it
notification
is.
bell or
but-
some shit. Right? Alerts.
And comment
fucking
comment on
old,
this
dude.
in our social media. Tell us what you think of Carlos here. We're going to try to see.
Yeah, maybe we can start getting some comments. Let's ask for comments on who should be on the podcast next,
Yes.
It's not a bad idea.
or what dumb shit we should do, like all the other podcasters
I
do,
agree
or the
with
people
that.
on YouTube.
What do you mean dumb shit?
I
Give me
don't
an
know.
example.
I got a potato gun. We can do some dumb shit.
Build a
with
slide
that.
off the roof and
Fucking
I don't.
shoot someone with a potato gun. I'll volunteer you.
In this room,
Whatever.
we could shoot our guests with a potato gun. It's part of the. It's just part of the
The
progress.
initiation process.
You know what, dude? Put a helmet and a cup on. Fucking let her go. Send it.
Right here within the
Right
width
here.
of this room.
And it's gonna fucking.
A potato
happen.
gun. That's what the hair.
boy.
It's
I
hairspray.
feel like that would do internal damage.
Well, I mean, we can like tape magazines prison style to someone's chest and abdomen. Put a helmet on them.
Hold on.
Let's
to that
fucking
prison
get this,
style.
man. I'm serious. Put a cup on and just send it. Fuck it.
I'm gonna-
We have your dad's air cannon. We'll just use t-shirt cannon.
I think we
Oh,
would have
t-shirt.
killed some of our guests. We would have seriously maimed. The median age for this podcast is probably 70.
Right, and then
68.
2 days later there has to be, so the podcast can't get put out there until 2 days later until we took a picture of the bruise that ensued.
It's gotta be there, man. I mean, a potato or a
That's our
fucking
new
apple?
logo.
Yes, dude.
Okay.
I'll volunteer myself for that mission.
Brian, if this will make more viewers, work this into the script.
I think we do the t-shirt cannon, then we use the very same t-shirt cannon at Flat Out
That
Friday.
Okay.
potato gun's pretty aggressive. I took my.
We're not
buddy's-
ready.
It took his rear tail light out on his car one day, partying at my house.
Well, let's stay focused, and you're going to hear that theme a lot. Like and comment on our YouTube channel, Instagram, wherever. Let's have a dialogue.
I have been seeing more comments coming through, so that's cool.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And also just push us over the edge as far as liking and letting this grow. Because the more it grows mathematically, the more that it gets pushed by the algorithms of the social medias itself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the Wizards of Oz that exist behind the curtain.
All those coders.
All right. Well, that's an update. Tickets with Flat Out Friday. I'm going through rider data. If you go to the website right now, the Flat Out Friday website, the riders can see if they've signed up or not. It's not totally updated right now, but it will be very shortly. The reasons why are mundane, but data is coming in, and that's an update. Before we begin our interview with Carlos, I want to just share a story with you live here. Is this live? Live on the air?
No.
Hey.
Live to tape. Hey, did you know this? We started a TikTok channel. You guys?
I haven't seen it yet. How is it?
No.
Well, TikTok. We were talking about social media earlier.
Yeah, I don't have.
Have
one of
you
those.
looked at it? Have you looked at TikTok?
I don't have one.
Well, here's me. You know, a 42-year-old person, and
Yes, most definitely.
and my son showed it to me. He set it up for us.
Nice.
He set up both accounts, and when you first sign up, it looks just like Instagram essentially. But then you spend some time on it, and then it unfolds the full birth,
Plethora.
Yeah.
the full, like, it starts to slowly give you these options.
As the bots slowly start creeping into your cell phone,
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
gather all of your information,
Exactly.
and it's in your underwear drawer. It's like,
and
oh, he
when
likes this.
When you follow, when you follow like where the shared space is.
Yeah.
There's two shared spaces. Where you get to share the people you follow, and then you share the algorithms it thinks you likes. It thinks that I like women just about to take off their tops.
Oh,
And
well,
I
don't we all? Come on, man.
don't know
I mean,
why.
is that so bad?
I don't know why that is, because that's normally not something I'm into.
We might have something in common.
Dude, you might have to start looking at puppies, change the algorithm for
Okay.
a little bit.
Well, there's another option that was just unveiled to me, and it says post to view. Do you know what I'm talking
What
about?
is it? Post
I
to
don't know
view.
what that
Post to view. So it'll have a person's profile picture, and but it's blank. It's just their profile picture. And if you want to see what they're up to,
Yeah.
you have to post a video so you post it to them, I think. You know, maybe even by the time this comes out, I'll figure it out. But you post a video to them, and then maybe they like what you've done. I don't exactly know what happens after that wall, because here's where my problem was. I'm sitting down where I do most of my social media work in the bathroom.
Of course, man.
Okay. And I'm like, well, I got some time here. You know, I've been eating some meat.
Absolutely.
I'm going to settle in for a long winter's nap. And I go into my TikTok, and I'm like, well, I'm going to try to figure this out. I've got some time. and I go to the post to view, and I click on a person who there's people in there, I don't know who they are, but I happen to know one of them. It's a young lady that is on our team that works with us. So this is kind of an apology to that young lady whose name
Shall remain anonymous.
Anonymous unless there is a sexual harassment complaint, which is coming up shortly. I see her as the post to view, and I know that person. I trust that person. They'll be cool with me trying to figure out what I'm doing here.
Were they not cool?
I click on it, and suddenly my phone turns to a camera. Okay, but I don't realize this. I don't realize this for about 10 seconds. And when I see my knees
and you're giving birth,
and my underwear,
yeah, you're giving birth while this shit
and
happens.
And I see the clock counting down. And I'm like, oh my God, and I'm sweating and I'm trying to turn it off. But by clicking the home button, the thing is still running. And I don't know what to do but hold my hand over the thing and turn my phone off.
Oh boy.
Out of an absolute
Did
panic.
it fucking send?
I don't know.
That would have been the most genius thing ever, to send her a picture of you dropping a Blumpkin.
Yeah, but in the panic, some parts may have been exposed.
Of
and it
course,
could
man.
Yes.
Oh boy, you know dick pics are forever.
Dude,
Yes.
yeah, that's
it.
for life.
I may have been a dick pic
Yeah, they call that
offender.
They call
Pulled the
that
Brett Favre?
Yeah, it's
I might have done a
internet
Brett Favre.
herpes, dude. It just doesn't go away. It shows up every now and then and goes away.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
And if anything comes about that, I want this time stamped that I'm pleading my innocence.
You're getting ahead of it.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm damage controlling my dick pic.
I think that's what all dick pic folks do.
Check.
All dick
Okay.
pic guys do
Did
that.
that
Dick
work?
pic sent. Check.
All right. Well, we're going to go Carlos. Carlos, I know you, again, I've said this before to other guests, as Carlos. You have no last name. You are just Carlos.
That's me.
Yeah. You appear like a vapor.
I do. I like to come in and out of space.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, I know you as a friendly guy around town.
Sure.
But apparently you have a little bit of cachet.
Yeah.
Do you have any cachet?
Maybe. I don't know. We might have to dive into that and see.
I want to dive
where
into
are
it
you
right
going
now.
with this?
Who are you? Why are you? What are you doing on this podcast?
Well, I've kind of been involved with Warren and Mama Tried since its inception. I was in the first one way back in the day when it was just kind of like a hangout with all of our buddies that we used to ride with.
It was a build. You had a bike. and
I
you
did.
drove.
I had a 46 knucklehead that I had for a long time, and Warren and Scott were putting the show together. And at the time, I was in a shop called the Valley. We used to put the hood bush on and all that stuff. And so when Warren and Scott decided they wanted to do a ride or a bike show, they reached out to us and they wanted some bikes to put in it. So we filled some space, and it was rad, man. The guys in the shop, they built like a facade of a garage, and then
I forgot about that.
another guy, Luke, a guy that was in the shop with us. He's a photographer. He took a picture of the front of our shop, the original Valley. And so at the first Mama Tried, we had our bikes out there, but then there was this like really bitchin' fake front of a garage with this giant vinyl poster or whatever picture of us in the shop. So when you looked at our bikes and then you saw this whole thing around it with a picture on it, it was like you were looking into our shop.
Got it.
It was rad, man. Those are some great fucking times, dude.
It wasn't did you guys have tents set up, or was that the Haints?
That was the Haints, man. Those fuckers had all kinds of wild shit. I mean,
It was like a birthday party.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
fucking derelicts.
This was an installation at the show itself.
it was. They assembled it right at the show, so it literally looked like the front of a garage. Because when Luke took the picture, our garage door was halfway down, so he put that picture that fit perfectly in there. And then when you looked at the bikes in front of it, it was like this added dimension where you were looking into our shop. It was so badass. Those dudes really went all the way on the first one.
So you build motorcycles,
I have,
or you collect motorcycles.
Yes. Yeah, a little bit of that. I mean, I guess if we want to dive into my history, ever since I was a kid, probably just like Warren and like a lot of people, my dad's always had a Harley, and so
Your douche flutes.
I got my douche flute here. So from the time I was like, 5, 4, I mean, you smell, you see, you hear these bikes coming in and out of your space as a kid, and all my dad's buddies and shit hanging out. And so for me, it was just kind of I was born into that influence as a kid.
We've been following this thread for a little bit through our people we interviewed. Your dad, where was your dad? Where were you growing up at this
So
time?
I lived on the north side of Milwaukee. I lived in Glendale, and my dad was an iron worker. And I want to say in like 1973 or 74, before I was born, he's an immigrant. So he moved here from Peru when he was 11 or 12. So he moved here, didn't know the language, and he ended up like all of us. I mean, he was in high school, and it was kind of a misfit dude, beat the shit out of people, and was a fighter and a scrapper. And he just ended up with a crew of guys that were into cars and bikes. And so for him, it was this natural progression. And so he started, riding up to, at the time, it was Mole Lake in northern Wisconsin. It was an Indian reservation. It was a bluegrass festival. And if you talk to some of the gray-haired dudes walking around, I mean, Mole Lake was lawless. It was just this crazy biker party.
This is Wisconsin.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It was this crazy lawless biker party.
It's like
in
a
northern
Honda
Wisconsin.
drop kind of thing.
Dude, they did everything. Tom Hinterholtz told me that they were up there one year and, in the 70s, and they didn't have anything to eat. And this farmer's like, you can have my horse. And they literally killed and butchered.
Hang on a second. This is going in too deep. We're going too
I'm not
fast.
kidding
Slow
you,
down
man.
here.
I swear to God.
We have to have a little romance
Starting to
build.
sweat.
Let's have a little romance build here before we do we go raw dogging it. Hang on a second.
All right, let's get some foreplay,
your
baby.
father
Let's do it.
was an immigrant from Peru.
Yeah.
To Milwaukee.
Yeah.
My grandparents. You know your grandparents?
My grandfather died 2 years after they moved here from Peru.
Okay.
Yep.
To the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah, they lived on somewhere on Hampton.
How'd that happen? Why?
So my grandfather was in the mining industry. In Peru, the mining industry is just this huge, it's just bastion of, I don't know, iron ore and all this shit.
Sure.
My grandpa
I've heard that.
worked in that,
Yeah.
and he was pretty high up in Peru in Caterpillar. So somehow or other, he got a job at Harnischfeger, and this German dude, this Catholic German guy, sponsored him to come over here. And so he left Peru, left his family behind. For 2 years, he worked here in the U.S., funneled money back. And they were really well off in South America. Like, my dad told me stories that they got the first TV in the neighborhood and shit, and him and his brother would charge people 10 cents to come in and watch the TV and shit. So my old man's been a hustler since he was, a kid. But anyways, my family comes over here, and my grandpa makes a good living for himself working in the mining industry here, and was able to move his family over. So there was 5 kids, and 2 years after they were living here, so around 1967, my grandfather crashed a Dodge pickup truck, and down in Racine, I believe, or no, Elkhorn. He was taking a turn. My grandpa, he was a sociable guy. He liked to go out and hang out, and he was taking a turn, hit a guardrail, and literally the truck flipped over, shot him out of the windshield, and he flew over a house that was on the bottom of this off-ramp and was laying in the bushes in the front yard. So when the cops came to find out what the fuck's going on, they're like, who's driving this truck? Who's driving this truck? They couldn't find him. And for a while, he was just laying in the bushes in the front yard of this house,
Jesus.
and somebody found him. And so they brought him to the hospital, and he was alive. I mean, they built trucks in the 60s. It was all steel. And he bent the steering wheel in half, like tacoed it when he went through the windshield. Well, he was in the hospital for, I want to say, 3 days, and then he ended up passing away from sepsis, like a total full systemic infection.
You tell this story with such detail. It must be told. It's a family lore.
Absolutely.
This story.
Absolutely. Yeah. I learned about it when I was real young. So here's my dad living in another country, and he's like 11, 12. Going through all the bullshit that you do when you have an accent, you don't know the fucking, the
And
language
your
and
father's
shit.
gone.
And your dad's gone, and so my old man, he persevered, and he ended up just with the right people, I guess, that fit his personality, and those guys were bikers, and they built cars a little bit here and there. So that's kind of how my pops got into it. So you can imagine growing up in a foreign country, South America, and you move here, and within 6 or 7 years of living in the States, you're buzzing around on it. I think his first Harley was a 77 Super Glide. And on the way up to Mole Lake, he crashed it and got a settlement, and then bought a 77 Lowrider, which to me is the sexiest Harley that's ever been built. I used to watch my dad come home on that thing when he was an iron worker.
Which
when
one
I
was
a
it?
Kid.
Gray one,
It was
black
the gray one with the anodized heads with the fucking red Harley Davidson logo on it.
Yeah.
And my old man's an iron worker.
That logo
so
right there.
That one right there. Yep. So he would come home, man, with a t-shirt. I can fucking see it right now. We lived in a cul-de-sac, and I'd be sitting at the end of the driveway knowing my dad was coming home at the front of the house. And I could hear him come down Silver Spring and turn into the cul-de-sac. And he always had a white t-shirt that was just fucking crusty from welding all day, tucked into his fucking jeans with boots on. And he always had a keychain on his side. And he'd roll in on that 77 lowrider, and it was like, you know, as a kid, you see that and you smell, you know what I'm talking about, man. You smell the smells and you see your dad and you're like,
you don't know. I mean,
fuck, that's all I know.
Yeah, but still, you know, you took that in. You were present as a child to realize that, right? Like a lot of kids don't understand that. I didn't really understand that until later on in life.
Yeah, and that's kind of how my son was. Jonah was the same way. I mean, I bought 83 lowrider for him when he was 17. Off of Craigslist. I was like, hey, I'm going to show you how to make money on motorcycles. Plus, you can ride them around. So I put it in the garage, and he didn't want fuck all to do with that bike. And so I looked at him, and I was like, hey, let's go out and ride this thing. And he's like, yeah, cool, whatever, Dad. And at that moment, I was slightly disappointed. I was like, well,
you never know where
maybe this isn't for him, right? And so I sold the motherfucker. And when I sold it, suddenly he got interested in bikes. And when he turned 17, he worked as a lifeguard, saved up enough money, and it was so crazy. He went up to Hayward, Wisconsin with my dad and found a Triumph chopper on Craigslist.
That thing was cool.
Dude, that was the most badass Triumph ever. It had everything, invaders. It just was molded. It was super badass. And he bought it from the guy that built it when he was 17. And so my kid went up there with the money he saved for that summer and bought his first bike, and it was a Triumph. It was cool. It's cool.
Well, I want to go back to your. We're not even ready for your kid yet. Chapter. We're talking about you growing up.
Sure.
Your father. Where's your mother in all this?
My mom was right there with my old man. My mom used to ride with my dad. So
ride on the back or ride her own motorcycle?
He got her like a Honda, whatever, 650 or some bullshit.
So your mom's a certified badass. Oh.
She rode with my sister. She was pregnant. Riding bikes. That's what people didn't say. My mom told me when I was born that they fucking smoked cigarettes and drank beers in the room I was born in with the fucking family next to us. They had a girl, they had a boy, and they're like, we just partied with these people and we were smoking in the labor or whatever, the delivery room, and drinking beers, and nobody gave a fuck about it.
Your mom, she's a Milwaukee?
Yeah, my mom was born and raised here, and my dad met her, holy shit, my dad met her at what is now Silk. Back in the day, Silk is a strip club for people that don't know Milwaukee. But Silk is a strip club. It's a real high quality joint.
Are you saying your mom was a
No, she was not. She could have been though. She was a smoke show back in the day. But at the time, that place was called the Attic, and it was like a fucking. You remember that? The Attic? Club. Yeah, it was a dance club. So my old man used to go to that place.
Did the Attic? Did they make themselves look like a castle, or was that Silk?
It was the Attic that did that. Okay. It was like the Regal Beagle, from fucking Three's Company and shit. So my old man would go there in a leisure suit and fucking do his disco bullshit or whatever in the early 70s, and he met my mom, and shortly thereafter I came along. Yeah.
Okay, so just then let's go briefly back to Mole Lake. Mm-hmm. Your dad's with this badass crew. There's some kind of annual cookout.
So what happened back in those days? They would go up to Mole Lake, and boy, that's a legendary. That was a legendary thing here.
Where is Mole Lake?
It's kind of by Lilly, Wisconsin, because they would always hang out in Lilly.
Where's the nearest Walmart?
Oh fuck, man. Yeah, that was non-existent back then, dude. But those guys, I remember my dad leaving for these fucking trips, and
south of Crandon,
12, 13 bikes would show up at our house. And I remember him kissing my mom and hugging me and being like, I'll be back, whenever. And I'd stand out there, and all his buddies would come up and fucking slap me around and be like, what's up, buddy? And then they would jump on their bikes, fully packed out, and bail up there for this crazy bluegrass festival they used to have. People have gotten...
So it wasn't a biker...
No, it was. Yeah, absolutely. Mole Lake was. It was like Wisconsin's little Sturgis back in the 70s.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, they kept it tight. And dude, people have gotten murdered up there. It was the wildest shit ever. Yeah, it was on an Indian reservation, which is cool, and it was just fucking lawless. Yeah.
We should revive it.
I'm fucking all about that, dude. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want anybody to get murdered.
The governor might get involved because, from what I understand, so all right, just to give you a little side piece to this, I was working as a bartender in my mid-20s downtown Milwaukee for a very, very good close friend of mine, and we were talking about Mole Lake, and he goes, dude, I used to go to fucking Mole Lake, and I'm like, no shit, dude. He goes, I got arrested for attempted murder there one time because I look like a fucking guy that killed somebody there. I spent the whole weekend in fucking jail, and they let me out on Monday morning, dude. Could you imagine that? You go to a party, and they're like, oh, you look like the guy. It's like 1977. There's no way to fucking verify shit.
Yeah.
They just throw you in some local jail until they fucking sort it out. So yeah, Mole Lake, from everything I've ever heard of it, was the apex. It was a wild time.
Let's continue on this trajectory of you being obviously I can see it in your face and the passion with which you talk about your father.
Yeah,
The same passion you talk about your father.
Yeah,
Sure.
And when I get a chance, I think I'll talk about my father that way.
You should, man. You should.
Yeah.
But which is I don't. Is this unique that we talk about our fathers?
I don't
like
think
this?
so. I think it's.
Is this why we are where we are right now in this room? Because we have such respect for our
Could be.
fathers?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's definitely part of it.
Absolutely.
I feel like I've just been slapped in the face.
Enlightened.
It's a good thing, man.
with enlightenment.
No, it's a good thing. It's a good
I
thing.
mean, it's great, Warren, to see your father pop in here.
It's badass. I love it. When I come here and I see the old man here, it's like I'm seeing my dad.
Yeah.
You know, when I see Warren's dad working on a knucklehead, I'm like, that's where he should be. I want to be that. I'm a grandpa.
Yeah.
Literally, I just became a grandpa a month ago, and I want to be that dude.
Because you would think that we are outlaws, which and that's a bad word in this context, but we
Sure.
are
Outlayers?
we're what was the word, marginalized.
Sure.
Because we hate our parents.
Yeah.
And it's quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a ton
Absolutely.
of respect for our parents, and
Most
them,
definitely.
them being marginalized is what made us want to marginalize ourselves. Bold statement.
Yeah.
Are you writing this down? I should be writing this down.
It's on video, bro. You don't have to write
You're
it
good.
down.
Nobody needs to write
Okay,
shit.
sorry.
Maybe you need to write it down in
Yeah,
your
I should write
fucking
this down.
in your book.
Okay.
Is that
so,
a cap?
Dude.
This is the cap from the last
Oh, we gotta get a cap
fireball
gun.
that I.
How many fireballs do you guys have?
Yeah, we got some a lot of fireballs.
Fuck.
I don't keep track. What are you?
Well, break
what am
a-
I in an inquisition
Fucking
here?
break
I
a
don't
couple
know.
out, bro. You can't sit there and drink that shit without us.
There's a tequila here. You want that?
Oh, man. I'll fuck with it. I don't care.
Okay, let's stay back on the trajectory.
Thank you.
What's the big step with your high life? It's a good.
Fuck, dude. I'll take my pants off. There's no fucking way.
It's good to have goals. Let's focus here now. Back to you growing up with your father. So you're growing up in Glendale, and I know the
Yeah.
area based on what you're talking about, Silver Spring.
Yeah, Titonian
By
Silver
the way,
Spring, yeah.
if those of you that are listening, that would be just north of this kind of vein of industrialization running through the city.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically stopping at your front doorstep.
Exactly.
If your house was 50 feet tall, you could look and see the industrial vein running through the city.
For sure.
Were you Glendale's known for being a little hoity-toity? Were you a little bougie?
No,
when you were
we
younger,
were
or
on
you-
the. I say Glendale. We were literally across the street from Glendale, and that's part of the reason why we moved out of there, because it got pretty thuggish, and I was getting into some gnarly shit.
Okay.
Even as a 10, 11 year old.
That's where I got to call you out right here.
What's that?
Can you just say what you just said again? It got pretty thuggish in Glendale,
It
so
did.
I had to move out of it.
No. So if you go
Okay.
if you go to Silver Spring and you go south of Silver Spring on Long Island Drive, Glendale's.
I know it.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. So I grew up on Long Island Drive in
But
Silver Spring.
again, I'm not debating with you, and I'm not talking politics. But I think Long Island Drive at that time, you're talking mid '70s.
No, mid '80s. That's when we moved out of there.
That area was built as an upper class neighborhood and has so quickly and cheaply.
It's by the
it is
mall.
Now
That's way further. That's
It is now
way further west
downtown.
or east. Yeah, no. So where I lived, it was apartment buildings. It was actually a project. There's a project if you go straight down
Okay.
north. If you go straight down Long Island Drive, it does a little elbow. We lived over on the side of it in a cul-de-sac. But as that elbow turns, it was all government housing up and down there.
we're gonna hold. I want to hold on to that.
Sure.
I used to because there's Lincoln Park is right there.
Could be.
Mhm.
Yeah,
My biker uncle used to take me bow shooting there.
that's badass.
So that bring it.
I've
full
never heard
circle.
about your biker uncle.
Well, we'll
What the
bring him
fuck,
on
bro?
here.
He's got a bike race. Why you been holding it down?
Now's the
man?
time. Let's
Let
go.
that shit
We'll
out.
bring him out.
What's his name?
His name is Terry.
Is he alive?
Great name.
He's alive.
Should be on the podcast.
Fucking
Okay.
okay, dude.
And your dad.
Yeah.
You know what? And real quick, an ode to my uncle Terry.
Poncho
Salute.
and
I'm gonna-
Terry.
I want to say, He worked at A.O. Smith.
Yeah, that's badass.
Just right here.
What was he riding? What kind of biker was he?
Oh, I don't think he was a biker that had a bike.
Oh,
So he was just dirty fingernail guy.
I love that. Yeah, dirty fingernails,
Dirty
vest.
fingernail guy and his crew.
Yeah,
His crew.
He looked like he had a motorcycle.
fuck
was,
yeah.
I don't
dude.
remember him having a motorcycle. I remember motorcycles coming and going, just like people in black eyes and.
Oh, he was out there.
He's the uncle that introduced you to marijuana.
Yeah,
for
did
the
he
first
get
time.
you high for the first time?
No, he
First
was
time you
very
smelled
good.
marijuana
Yeah,
was
it
when
was
you
one
were
of those.
Terry.
With your own.
Yeah.
Yep,
I have
absolutely.
one of those.
First American.
Yeah, bro, I do too. But two of my uncles, man, they got me high as fuck.
No, he
deer
wasn't
hunting when
like
I was
that,
like
and
13.
I appreciate him for not being that way. But just real quick, my uncle lived on 47th and Burleigh,
Yeah.
and I lived on the north side. And he got WMSC, the radio station, in, and I would stay at his house as much as I could
To listen
just
to it?
to listen to the
Yeah,
radio.
You
station.
couldn't get it
was
where
the
you're
shit.
at?
I couldn't get it as
Wow.
consistent, and I would stay with him as much as I could.
WMSC was like the shit. back
Yeah.
then.
Well, he
Still
and he was.
is. It's rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to call him a biker, but he was a North Side biker.
Mm-hmm.
We were around the people.
Sure. Probably in the mid 80s too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
the shit, man.
All right, so you were inspired by your father.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and you're very articulate.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
Sure.
And I'm going to make a bold statement that we'll come back to. Warren, correct me if I'm wrong on this, because you know Carlos more than I know.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to you more in the green room than I've ever talked to you, and you're very attuned to energy.
Sure.
Is that
Absolutely.
fair?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
So you have an education of some kind. Can you tell us your education and how you got dirty fingernails?
In what sense? Like in what sense of the word?
Let's start when you're 16.
When
Where
I'm
are you
16? Oh, I'm a fucking fuck story at 16.
Why are you a fuck star?
Because I was, but at
that you
16,
love.
I mean, think about what you're doing at 16. I was learning so much about like subcultures and getting into drugs, like smoking weed and doing all that
And not
stuff. right?
everybody. You say that as if that's the story for
It
everybody. That
feels
is not
like
the
it.
story for everybody.
So for me, when I was 16, I kind of connected with maybe the same type of dudes that my dad did in my small circle. Like most
at
of us.
Glendale High School.
No, I went, actually. Here's what's fucked up. It gets better. It got so thuggish ruggish that my dad got a job at the post office in 1980. He turned down the police department and the fire department, took a postal job, and moved us from fucking Glendale or the north side to Brookfield.
Okay.
So when I moved to Brookfield,
Okay.
yeah. So I moved to Brookfield when I was about 13, maybe or so.
You were thugging the streets of Brookfield.
I was a fucking straight thug in Brookfield,
I hear
man.
you. It's hard out there. It's
I
hard
was,
out there for a
I was a
bit of
Brookfield
Carlos.
thug, man.
Give context to the area.
Can you tell me the name of the street it was? What was the name of the road you grew up on?
In Brookfield? Or,
Yeah.
What was it? Brook Hill Drive.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, right off Pilgrim.
Come on.
Yeah.
I've never heard that
Yeah,
in any
man.
rap song I've ever
It was
heard.
posh.
Right. For people that don't know, Brookfield is,
Yeah.
It's one of those spots where
Did you
people
have a
money.
sidewalk?
No, we
Okay,
didn't.
then
That's
just
what freaked me
get
the fuck
out.
out, dude.
All right, get out.
When I moved out there, here, check this shit out. So I move out there, and I'm like
Wait.
break dancing and shit, and these motherfucking people in Brookfield are like, "Who's this fucking guy?" I got suede Pumas
You're
on.
breakdancing.
I'm breakdancing. I'm like,
In the
"What's up?"
street.
My name's Carlos.
Pop-
and they're
pop
like, "Who the
locking.
fuck is this guy?" Right? I'm like, "Where's all your sidewalks?" Like, what the fuck's a sidewalk? And I'm like, oh fuck! It was a culture shock.
Yeah.
So everywhere I went, I had so many bikes stolen when I lived in Milwaukee, and I had stole a lot of bikes. I always put my bike over my shoulder. And these motherfuckers, we would go to like walk through creek tunnels and be kids, and they would just throw their bikes on the side of the road. And when I first moved, I'm like, hey, someone's gonna steal your shit, man. Why are you leaving it there? And they would look at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? So here I am with a fucking Haro walking.
which
like,
one? Know the model?
I can't remember. I had a couple of them. I had a Hutch, a Haro.
I was a GT guy.
GT
myself.
Pro Performer. Remember
I was
that
a
one?
GT too.
Yeah.
Model
Hell yeah.
1. Had the Model
Dude,
1.
yeah. So here I am walking through these tunnels. We're crick walking, and I got my bike over my arm.
Crick walking means something different if you live in the city. But
Dude,
just keep
crick
going.
walking in the city was
Just
shit.
keep going.
So I taught these kids how to crick walk. You know what I mean?
Okay, calm
Not
down.
crip walk, but
There's
crick
just no,
walk.
there just wasn't any concrete around.
Calm down,
There was no
Carlos.
concrete, man. There was no sidewalks, dude.
Okay, anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, anyways, I move out there, And I'm getting down with the boys
With the
on
people.
Brookfield.
The people
in Brookfield, and they're looking at me like I'm
They're
some
good people.
alien, and I'm looking at them like, why are you leaving your bikes just sit out here for somebody to steal? And then I came to the realization that nobody's gonna steal my bike out here in Brookfield. I can't ride on sidewalks because there aren't any fucking sidewalks. But it turned into a pretty good thing. And that was just my father trying to,
Sure.
He's always my dad, man. He's always pushed forward. And maybe that's kind of that thirst. I see it in you a lot, Warren, too, man. And it's that thirst to be successful, but be a good human being as you're doing it. And there's a lot of humbleness in my dad.
Sure, and you point to Warren in that, and Warren is an active live. You're talking in past tense. Warren, I think, is an active present tense of pulling his family up.
That's
Is
how you
that
gotta
fair?
do it. That's life.
I appreciate that,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. No, that's being a fucking man.
Mhm.
It's being a human being. That's being a woman, a man. You name it. It's just being a good human being and pushing forward.
But here's the funniness about it. We laugh about it. That you grew up in Milwaukee and then your parents moved you to Brookfield, and we laugh.
Of course.
But of course, there was the best of intentions by your father.
By all means.
Well, that's
Absolutely.
really, that's what we do.
That's life.
That's what I did, right?
Sure,
That's
sure.
what your old man did. You didn't
Sure.
live in the city, right? You lived close enough to claim the city, but
I lived in the city till I was 14. Just
Same with me.
If,
Yeah,
I, if
close.
I can put
Yeah.
that on the record.
Yeah. Yeah. But
and
that's
then
a good
and
thing.
then what happened? Your old
And then
man
my
moved you
parents-
out to the fucking
Yeah,
burbs.
and I hated it, right? And then
I did too. I did too at first, but here's the thing: you assimilate to your surroundings, and after a while, some of the best friends of my life have come out of that
Yeah, I
experience.
didn't assimilate.
Yeah,
back to
I was
Milwaukee.
able to, man.
You fought it, huh?
I just-
as soon as 18 hit out, you were out.
I just listened to a lot of Africa Bambaataa and danced my ass off, like fucking.
What about
breakstyle shit,
what's
you know?
what's the Roller Ring song? The fuck man, wish I could think of it.
Jam on it? Jam on it.
No,
Jam
that
on
was
it.
another one. I'll play for you. Send it to you
I gotta
later.
fucking hear
I
this.
love it.
I want to pause though and just hallmark again the
Yeah,
veins or the parallels of our interviews.
Yeah.
And JJ was into BMX as his
For sure.
counterculture.
Yep.
And you into breakdancing was a countercultural.
Well, that was just the hottest shit, when you're a kid. I would see it when I lived in the city. Everybody in my neighborhood, like, we would go to roller skating rinks and shit.
Yeah.
We had our own little fucking
Don't stop the
hoodies.
rock.
Yeah, we had our little hoodies, and it was like we had our little thing on the back, and it was so crazy, man. It was like 84, 85, and we'd fucking do this shit and go to roller skating rinks and shit. But, I was a kid. I was like fucking 10, 11.
Can you skate? Can you?
Oh,
what do you
fuck
call?
some
What do you
shit
call it when you dance? and you skate?
Bullshit.
I can
I'd
fuck
like.
some shit. Let's go, man.
I'd like
what
to
do you
see
call
it.
it?
I'm not.
Fuck with
Listen, I never did it. I'm doubting that you can.
Let's go. Let's hit it.
What do you call it when you
This
dance?
table's big enough.
Let's
for you to
fucking hit it, man.
do
Give me some
shit.
skates, dude. I'll do it.
What do you call it when you dance in unison like that?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, whatever that is, Sunday night Butler Skateland.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
That used to be a spot.
There's
Let's go.
There's a 40 plus
I'm fucking with it.
every Sunday
Do they
night.
give you elbow pads and shit?
I've always
A
wanted
fucking
to go.
helmet and a walker? I'm in.
I've always wanted to go to that.
I'm down, man.
Okay, we got off track from the original
My
question.
bad. I tend to do that.
Oh,
shit.
this is great. I like where we're going, or not going. But
You know where I like to go?
Where?
To the refrigerator to get a beer.
Fucking snag one.
what's wrong with that?
I got the last high life.
So, tell me again about your education. So you somewhere
Okay.
you were taking shop classes in high school.
Oh,
How did you-
absolutely.
How did you get a dirty fingernail?
Okay, so when I was a kid, my dad was the guy that wouldn't take his car to a mechanic. He just wouldn't. And so I would be the guy handing him wrenches, and he'd be fucking screaming at me,
Oh, I
and
know it.
throwing shit at me.
I do the same to my own kids.
I'm telling you, it was brutal. But I love him for that experience. I cherish and love my dad for that shit. Because we would be changing a transmission out on a fucking S10 with 300,000 miles on it because my dad just was always pushing forward. He's like, I can fix anything. And I think he got that from his dad. So, me getting my fingernails dirty as far as where I'm at today, I would say that started in my dad's shop when I was a kid.
He had a shop.
Well, his shop was our garage, so he got laid off. Reaganomics happened in the 80s. He was an iron worker.
And then
He got laid off from Wisconsin Bridge and Iron.
Okay, and you in Brookfield at this time?
No, we're still in Milwaukee.
All right.
And he starts hustling cars. And every fucking Sunday, me and my dad would go to eat at this Jamaican restaurant called The Rooster. It's kind of off of Villard.
I know it. It's still there.
Is
It's
it?
called the Hideout. I took Warren there.
So when I was a
For the
kid,
hideout?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I'd go there with my dad.
It was a biker bar.
Dude, this place called the Rooster's a restaurant.
Yeah, but it turned into a biker bar.
Oh, okay. I got you.
And now it's an African restaurant. Remember this place?
No.
Okay, anyway, go ahead.
So it was this Jamaican place, and we'd go there for breakfast, and my dad would whip the fucking Sunday paper open.
It was a biker bar that you didn't know it was a biker bar.
I didn't, man. I just
Okay,
knew
anyway,
Jamaican.
go ahead,
These
go ahead.
really, really nice Jamaican ladies would come up and call me, "Hey, baby," you know. I was like,
I was there
fucking
New
love
Year's
it.
Eve when I was in 8th grade. I'll tell you about it another
That's
podcast.
fucking dope,
But
man.
keep going.
Where would you guys have crossed paths?
More than likely, I was in there a
Oh,
lot.
Man, maybe. I grew up on 87th and Silver Spring.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! You're right up the street from me.
Okay.
Man. We're Northsiders, baby.
So I was supposed to have gone
What
to...
time? What year would you have been in at the what is it? The Rooster?
It probably would have been 87.
Oh shit, I was gone by then.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I grew up on 87th, but I was supposed to go to Marshall High School.
Yeah, Marshall's rough, dude.
But my parents sent me to Dominican High School
Did you on Silver Spring?
on Silver Spring.
Yeah,
Right by you.
man, that's where all the rich kids went, dude.
Well-
Why are you fucking talking shit to me, man? You went to fucking Dominican,
Can
bro.
you edit that out?
I love how the story
Can you
reveals
edit that
itself.
out?
Dude's talking shit. He's like, well, I went to Dominican. All right, man.
Okay, so you got your fingernails dirty by
So
helping
yeah,
your father.
help my dad in the garage. Like most guys, I'm sure Warren, you've been through this. Your dad's like, give me a quarter wrench, or a quarter, half-inch wrench or whatever, and you hand him a 5/8, and he just fucking chucks it at you like, get the fucking right one. It says 1/4, and you're shaking. He's pissed. He's he's dealing with mortgages and shit.
And
I
he's
have
holding
no
a fish
idea,
with one hand.
bro. Yeah,
And he's got rust in his
exactly.
eyes.
My dad was fearless as far as like something broke, he was gonna fix it. It did not matter, and so I got that from him when I was a young kid, and it was the best times ever. Here's a fucking wild story. I was probably 4.5, 5 years old, and I'm in his shop, and all his high school buddies are there. Big dudes, long hair, beards, the whole shit, and they're fucking with me and whatever. And I saw this jug sitting at the corner. I'll never forget. It was the door to the entrance of our garage, and I saw like what looked like one of those big Windex bottles. And I grabbed it, and as a kid, I was looking at it, and I put it to my face, and I went like this to look inside of it because I'm a kid. And my dad, thank God he saw me do this, runs across the garage, dude, and pushes me, like dive pushes me. I go flying, this jug goes flying, and I'm crying my fucking eyes out. It was a bottle of fucking muriatic acid, dude, to clean his floors with, and I almost poured that shit in my fucking eyes, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I came that close to being disfigured.
I like how you talk about the shop.
Yeah.
But it was the garage.
It was just our garage.
But you call it the shop, and you're like, there's some pomp and circumstance.
It was-
To this day, you have
Yeah.
that with your dad.
I do. Me and my dad, he just picked up a shop here in St. Francis, and
Or a garage.
It's an actual.
no, it's an
shop.
actual
Oh,
shop. It's
it's
a
a
full blown
shop.
shop. Yeah, he's got 2 spaces. He's got I think he's got 3,000 square feet or so, 3,500 square feet of maybe more than that. We rent the back half of it out, and we take the front half, and there's like 6 of us in there building bikes. So
To some other local folks that maybe we should have pop
Mike.
in, like
Milwaukee Mike will talk your fucking ear off. dude.
Milwaukee talking.
Yeah.
It'd be
Okay.
good. It'd be good. Look,
Mike is
gonna-
he's one of the sweetest fucking dudes I've ever met. I went to Sturgis one year, and he gave me a bracelet or whatever, a band, and he was like, "Here you go, man." And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" He's like, "That's like a $1,200 fucking bracelet." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You can go anywhere with it." And he was just handing them out to us. He's a sweetheart, man.
Hold on to that. Hold on to Milwaukee Mike.
Sure.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Because that's a bold statement. That's a bold name right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he
Because
was
I would
given
like to
that
be
name.
Milwaukee Jeremy.
MJ.
How about we call you Dominican Jerry?
DJ.
Let's
DJ.
You haven't told me about dirty fingernails.
Okay, so
yet.
I get my fingernails dirty with
we
my
went on this
pops.
little tangent about acid.
I'm sorry, man. So I fucking acid has come into my life in good ways and bad ways,
Okay,
and that was a
stay
bad
focused
way.
on the dirty fingernails. How did
So,
you
yeah.
get mechanically inclined?
So watching my dad work on stuff. And
okay, but now put that to the, eventually you got your balls dropped and you grew
yeah,
your own.
that's exactly what happened. No, that's exactly what happened.
I want to know about that moment.
Where's
here-
the transition?
Here's the
When
thing.
did-
Yeah,
I know my transition.
Here's
When
the
was
thing.
yours?
Here's the thing I can say to anybody out there that has a young son or daughter that you want to bring into the fold of your passions, be they motocross, flat track, restoring old motorcycles, or just riding any motorcycle in general. What happens is, I think, and this was my experience with my father and then my experience with my son. When you're 15, 16 years old, we're all looking for our own identity, right? So we kind of reject our parents. It's just a normal course, right? You reject them, you don't want anything because you want to create your own identity. So I rejected my dad. I rejected motorcycles. I didn't want a fucking thing to do with it. And then I hit 18 and I went to the military, or actually I went to the military at 17 and I got out when I was 19. And when I came back home, I just had a different perspective. And
Well, you all growed up.
I did, man. I grew up quick. And
You left the comfort of the nest and realized that the nest is very
the
comfortable.
nest is the most comfortable. So I came home, met a girl, started a family like immediately. And I had my son when I was 20, and I'm so happy I did that because it's been
that's
fucking
okay.
incredible.
You just can't sum up.
All right, let me get back.
You're
So
gonna give Jeremy
I'm gonna
an
come back.
aneurysm.
I'm definitely gonna give him an aneurysm. So what happened is I come back from the military.
Okay, what military?
I was in the Navy. I was a CB, so construction battalion.
Why do you join the military at 17?
I had no
what
choice.
attracted you to that?
I had no choice.
Because you were.
I was a fuck up. And when I was in high school, I had a judge and my dad and a teacher tell me, "You got one way to go."
Can we focus in on that?
Sure.
Or should we let that go?
No, let's go. Let's get it.
Is the case still pending?
No, the case is fucking over. Me signing up for the military ended all my bullshit. When I was young, I was a complete fucking maniac, and I did a lot of crazy shit. I think I graduated high school with like a 1.4 GPA.
Okay, so they
Congratulations.
talk,
Thank you. I worked real hard for that.
They
by
talk
the way.
about a nature versus nurture, and it tells me your nature. You came from a good stock.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right. Wait, you're like, you do come from a good stock. You have
Yeah.
a father that loved you and a mom that loved you. Why were you a fuck up?
Totally did. I was a fuck up because I was kind of trying to find out who the fuck I was.
So you bucked this perfect utopian system.
Oh, absolutely.
And you realize that now.
You were you were
Absolutely.
the story like everybody else here is like, the rich kid
Yeah.
that just said fuck it.
Fuck it. We were fucking middle class at best. Like at best. My parents both worked in manufacturing. My mom worked in for Briggs and Stratton for 30 fucking years and made $16 an hour her whole fucking life. And my dad was a post office guy, and here we are living in Brookfield amongst lawyers and fucking politicians or whatever. And I'm like dating their daughters and shit, and they're like, "What's your name?" "Oh, Carlos Rodriguez."
And of course you had
Nice
to
to
be
meet
Carlos
you.
Rodriguez.
Get the fuck out. I look like my name could be fucking Paul or
Yeah.
Doug, right? I don't look fucking Hispanic. But yeah. Well, maybe I do.
You speak Spanish?
I do.
They speak Spanish in the home?
No, we never did. My dad sent me to a Spanish immersion school when I was a kid. So I went to this.
Can you drop it out right now?
I could
You argue with your dad. You hand him an 11/16 and he wanted a 1.
No, he doesn't know. He's
Can you
yeah.
yell at him
No,
in
we don't.
Spanish?
No, not
Okay.
necessarily. No, it's
All right.
kind of it's kind of weird that we don't do that. But
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit what kind of trouble did you get into?
Oh my
Because
God.
I want to hear if we got
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
How does this trouble build?
Okay, so when I'm a kid-
the mayor's daughter.
When I'm a kid, I'm fucking getting into weed and fucking
Selling it?
acid,
Smell-
and mushrooms.
smoking it?
No, it's just devouring it. Like most people do. You're young. You're
not
exploring.
again. The most.
All right, maybe
most
not.
people don't devour
but-
acid. Okay?
But for me,
I'm
it
just
was
saying.
that was my thing, man. It was the crew that I was hanging out with, and then we got into.
What were you
this
guys
shit.
into? Dealing, or were you just having fun?
Well, in order to buy acid, you have to sell something. So we would.
And is this part of your break dance?
We would sell. No, this isn't Brookfield. We would steal people's fucking Sprint scooters, hotwire them, and then run weed all over Brookfield. Like somebody wanted weed, they called me or they called my buddy.
And how old are you at this
Fucking 15, 16.
And you're selling by the ounce, by the
Whatever I could get my hands on. Yeah.
Are you buying by the
pounds,
ounce?
whatever. No, I was flipping it for this dude they called. They called him Chameleon. It was this black dude that used to fucking hang out at Summerfest, and his eyes would like bulge out of his fucking skull, and he was a sketchy ass dude. And he would sell you like weed dipped in formaldehyde and shit. But he had some
Wiki
plug.
stick.
Yeah, dude. Back in the day, we were like, "Oh, this shit's the shit." It was like angel dust. But what happened was he started realizing that where we lived we could get money, and so we just started fucking running bags of weed around Brookfield in stolen spree scooters.
Well, why are you driving a spree scooter and not your parents' car?
Because it's quick and easy, and I knew how to hotwire them. And they got a little compartment at the back of it. That you
Same
can pop
reason
out.
why I used to steal golf carts at all the
Thank you. Universal
all
key.
Yeah.
Fucking universal key.
And
My
you
man.
usually had one on your keychain.
Dude, we were doing that in Sturgis so bad. Dana got caught by a Colombian chick, and she fucking screamed at him. Oh, it was the best.
Hang on, hold on to that. What, again, but answer my question. I mean, I don't understand the logic behind stealing, riding a stolen spree as opposed to just driving your mom's car.
Because I got to ask my mom to use her car.
Okay.
And if I have a fucking stolen spree ditched in the woods, all I got to do is go down to fucking North Avenue, hook up with fucking Chameleon on this stolen scooter with no license plate, stuff 3 ounces of weed in the fucking front of it, and head back to Brookfield, unload all that shit, take the money, and I'm good.
How the fuck did you meet Chameleon at 15 in Brookfield?
It was at 16. It was at Summerfest. I think we went to who sings that song, Tennessee?
Oh,
that was
Arrested Development. I was at Arrested Development, and this motherfucker walks up, and his eyes are bugging out of his head. And I was like, that dude's got drugs. Let's go talk to him. So that's how I met his ass, man. I was at an Arrested Development concert.
I was at that show.
Dude, get the fuck out of here, man.
That was and Disposable Heroes of Hip Hop opened up for him.
There you go.
And that wasn't Summerfest; it was African Fest.
Well, it was at the Summerfest
Yeah,
rounds.
what was that?
whatever
Was
the fuck,
that African Fest?
So yeah, so I was into that kind of shit.
Jeremy's into music. If you,
I can
if
tell.
you-
Hardcore, yeah. It's admirable. But yeah, so I was doing that kind of
Okay,
shit.
so you're selling weed at a fairly high level for 15, 16.
Yeah, we were having fun.
And you are 3 years younger than me. If you were 16 and I was 19 at that show. Mm-hmm. The next day I saw
he probably
X-Clan.
sold weed to you.
Maybe we were doing pretty good.
Okay, so something happens. You get caught.
So no, I never got caught selling weed. What I did do was I also used to do this shit called car shopping. So we would just go and fucking, you laugh probably because you done it.
I got in trouble for it, bro.
So we would roll through. Yeah, he got caught. We would roll through parking lots and just snag shit out of people's cars.
You were a Kia boy.
I was a fucking
no,
horrible child.
don't touch the cars. You just take the
You
shit
just take
out
the
of
shit
the cars.
out that's in it. I used to sell baby seats to fucking broads in fucking Brookfield and all kinds of shit. I was the
You
asshole.
would never take the car. You'd only take the
You just
content.
take the shit in it.
Okay.
Yeah, called car shop.
And what's your high ticket items? What's your profitable items?
Oh, we got camcorders and shit. I mean, it's Brookfield. People park their cars and leave their fucking shit open.
Bag phones.
Everything. Yeah, whatever
Okay.
we can.
This
find.
comes back to the idea of you should have locked your bicycle. And now you're like, you guys should have.
I'm the
locked your
guy
car.
that I
should've
should have locked
locked
my
your car.
bicycle from. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I turned into that dude.
So you're stealing. You're breaking into cars.
we're doing all kinds.
No,
of
they're
shit.
unlocked.
You just walk up to it. Exactly. That's Seymour knows the fucking deal.
That's a philosophical debate.
It's true though. That's what you did. You just checked the door if it was open. I remember walking to Brookfield Central. I went to East, but we were walking there to meet some girl, and we didn't have a lighter for cigarettes that we had. So my buddy, he's checking cars and he finds a car with the fucking keys in it, turns the fucking car on and pushes the fucking cigarette lighter in so that we could light cigarettes and then turn it off when we left it. We didn't steal the car. But that's the kind of dumb shit you do when you're a fucking kid, you know?
So, how do you get caught? What's the night?
Well, I fought a lot. So I got in more trouble for fighting.
Why are
than I did
okay?
anything else.
This is, again, you got to stay linear here.
I am, man. This
I'm
is all when I
following the
was a kid.
weed. I'm following the okay.
So I used to sell weed, steal shit
Why are
from
you
cars.
fighting?
Because, you know...
Because you like the drama?
No, because I was probably one of two people in high school that was Hispanic. So I would hear people would talk shit, and then I would whoop their ass because kids in Brookfield never really fought.
You just felt like, you know, whatever they would call you.
Yeah. No, they call me Spick all the time. And so...
And it would build in you? You could feel
No, I
the
just
rage?
whooped their ass
Or you felt it
immediately.
like very methodically like, okay, this guy needs his ass kicked.
No, I literally... here's a fucked up thing. My 8th grade picture, school picture, I have scratches across my face from a kid's ass I whooped that called me a spick. So he jumped on my back. We were playing this game where it was called Schmear the Queer.
Oh, I know that game.
So we'd throw a football up in the air, and then whoever had it got their ass kicked. Well, they threw it up, and I'd always grab the football And I had fucking smoked him earlier, and he was just mad at me. And he lived in this little
How
cul-de-sac.
old are you at this time?
14,
Okay.
15. So I grab this football, and this fucker jumps on my back, and he scratches my face, and he goes, "I hate you." And I was like, "Motherfucker." And I pulled him off my back, and I whooped his ass on his own fucking doorstep against the door, and his mom is on the other side, and she can't open the door, and I broke my fucking hand right here. It's called a boxer's fracture. I pummeled this kid on his fucking porch. I'm not proud of it, but it's just shit I did when I was a kid.
Is that where they're like, okay, Mr. Carlos?
They banned me from the neighborhood. They told me I couldn't come back in the neighborhood.
Okay,
So what I would do is ride my fucking bike in the cul-de-sac and just flip them all off.
Okay, and so this is building. This is building, and then you get caught. When's this?
I
Wrap this up.
I got more fucked up from fighting and just being a fucking degenerate.
With the law, though.
So the law part of it was a lot of speeding tickets and then assault tickets and shit like that from fighting. Because I'd go to Brookfield Square and just beat the fuck
He's
out
trying.
of people.
He's trying to figure out when did the come to Jesus thing mean.
So
Like,
what
go to
happened?
fucking-
The come
go
to
the
Jesus
military or
thing.
not.
The come to Jesus part happened when my dad pushed me so hard, and I'm very happy that I had a father that was in tune with me, because I was teetering on not graduating. I was an athlete in high school, and I did really good in that stuff, and I had potential, but I was a fucking degen. Like, I don't know. I keep saying like most people, but maybe it's not everybody. Maybe I was searching for something. I don't know. But all of it came to a head about 3 months before I was about to graduate. My psychology teacher was going to fail me, and my dad sat and talked with him, talked with the judge, looks at my psychology teacher.
What do you mean,
Wait,
judge?
why is there a judge all of a
Because I
sudden?
have tickets.
I don't have a judge.
Fucking
in
yeah.
my
So
parent
I got
conference.
fucked up in Elm Grove for fighting and speeding and just being a fucking asshole. So I got and my dad's writing letters to the judge to try to fucking save my driver's license and keep me out of fucking jail or whatever it was I was going to. And so my coming to Jesus moment happened when I sat down with my psychology teacher and my dad, and my dad told the psychology teacher, the judge is going to fucking drop everything as long as you give him a D minus so he can graduate. And by you signing off on that, you get to put him in boot camp. Here's his fucking shit for boot camp. And my teacher was like, where do I fucking sign? So I got sent to fucking boot camp.
Did you try in the class?
Fuck
Did
no,
you earn
man.
a D minus?
Hell no. I just talked shit to the guy the whole
Okay.
time. He was a fucking dickhead.
So
I was that guy.
that was vindication
It
for
was
him.
vindication for him. He was like, "Yeah, I'll sign that. You're going to boot camp." And so I did. I turned 18 in Biloxi, Mississippi, at a military base drinking. They called it near beer. It was 3.5 beer.
Your peers at that time, they are also in trouble with the law?
No,
or
there's
they're all
a lot-
volunteers.
A lot of those dudes fucking broke up with their old lady, and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the fucking Navy," and they take off, and now they're heartbroken, and they find out that she's the Navy is different. I mean, it was a very unique and very cherished experience that I went through. It was rad. Fucking loved it. Sorry, that's just my.
I'm
youth.
fucking exhausted.
Sorry,
How long
buddy.
have you been here?
I don't know.
We hit an hour 6 minutes ago.
Okay. Okay, I'm
Holy
fucking exhausted.
Shit, I'm
We-
sorry,
We
dude.
just scratched the surface.
I'm
so
just
sorry,
fucking
man.
exhausted with this
I
guy.
apologize, dude. You keep
Holy
asking me
cow.
questions about my fucking youth, dude.
You
My ute.
The what?
And in conclusion, and you build motorcycles.
So yeah, out of that, I found my way to motorcycles, and
Okay.
I've built a few in my lifetime.
And your creme, give me something.
Creme de la creme,
Yeah, the crown jewel.
There you go.
the crown jewel of my
Yeah,
motorcycles.
yeah.
That's a hard one, man. I don't know. It's hard to pick it out. It's hard to pick it out because the ones you keep all have a story behind it. Like, I always rave about the Death Dealer to this day. That bike that Warren built, his chopper. It's just fucking remarkable.
What's that got to do with you?
It's remarkable because when we talk about what's your favorite bike, I think about what his favorite bike is too. He's had the same.
He's got nothing to do with this.
But no, what I'm saying is, it's the same vein of where we kind of come from the same fold in many respects, and so I know for him, I see that bike and I'm like, that's got to be his fucking best accomplishment, as far as all the bikes he's built. So when I think about that and I put that perspective on myself, I would probably have to say it's probably my knucklehead because I've changed it and built it. I've owned it for over 20 years.
Where is this knucklehead right now?
It's in my shop. Yeah.
Was the knucklehead was at the first Mama
Yeah.
Tried?
Yep.
Yeah. I put
See that?
many
See that?
miles
We just
down
wrapped
that.
it up.
Yep.
Oh, I get where your head's
We
at.
just wrapped it up.
Yeah.
All right,
so-
cool. Let's get out of here.
That's a wrap. But no, that's I would say that one is because I have the most memories on that bike with friends camping. The first Mama Trial, like it comes from the genesis of, I don't know, Warren, what do you say, 2010? That's when I think 2010 maybe is where I met Warren. And I met him at a Valley party. You remember that floating shark they had in there? They had a shark filled with helium and it's floating around our party. And that's where I met Warren, and I kind of met all the people in the city that were into old bikes, because I was one of the only guys in my entire
How
group.
did you come into that fold?
So here's what's crazy. I went to what was that
Where were
fucking
you?
show?
You were living in where? West
I was
Dallas?
living in West Dallas, yeah, and a buddy of mine, Dowie, had helped me put my knucklehead together, and then I found out that the Rocker Box Rally was going on.
Okay, so you were building your knucklehead without any influence from the Valley kids.
No.
I was from
built-
influence from your dad.
It was built before I even met him.
Where'd you get the bike from?
I got that bike from Massachusetts. I had it shipped here when I
Craigslist.
sold it. No, Walnick's Classic Cycle Trader.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I found it on there. And I called that guy, and he called me a fucking asshole and hung up on
Wait,
me.
okay, so what bikes did you own before? Quick rundown. You had
So before that, I had a 1999 Fat Boy, and I had about 4 or 5 mid-70s Sportsters.
who were you running with?
My old man.
Okay.
Yeah, my
So
old man
him
and some of
his
his
old-
buddies, or by myself.
No younger folks.
None. There was nobody to ride with. Nobody. There was no fucking what you think today is a scene was
All
definitely
right.
not
So then how'd you meet the Valley kids?
So I go to the fucking Rocker Box Rally, and I roll up there on my
Which one?
knucklehead.
You remember?
2010 maybe.
Do you remember had we met at that point?
Nope, we hadn't met.
Was that the year that I had that pink knucklehead there?
Nope. I don't think
year
so.
that was.
If you did, I didn't see it, but I walked that whole thing. So I pull my knucklehead up, and here comes this friend of mine, Dana, and another guy, Donnie Skunk, we call. He's got a knucklehead
Yeah, I
too.
just ran into him at
Those guys are so rad.
Where the fuck were we? He walked up on us and we were somewhere with this little girl. She's so cute.
She's so cute, yeah. It might have been the Milwaukee swap or whatever those guys do. He had her down
No,
there
I've
for
never
that.
been to one of those. It was out of the fucking blue.
Nice.
Whatever.
So yeah, I go to the Rocker Box Rally and I park my knucklehead out there because I didn't know anybody that was into old bikes at the time, right? And Dana walks up to me and he's like, "Hey man, is that your fucking bike?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "That thing's killer. You want to see my bike?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And he had a Sportster he put together, and Donnie Skunk had a fucking, I don't know, it was like a Yamaha or something, but it was this crazy fucking rusty looking chopper. And I just clicked with those dudes. And so after the Rocker Box Rally, I want to say maybe a week or two later.
Where did they have a shop yet?
They did. They had the Valley. It was the Valley on Pierce. The original one where he did all the hood bushes out of. Where you had to go down that little hill to get to it.
Okay. All right.
So it was like 11th and Pierce in Milwaukee. And a week later, they're like, "Hey, man, come down to the shop and we build a bunch of crazy bikes and shit." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, man, whatever." Well, before I actually went to the Valley, I was driving in my Jeep with my family going to get a pizza. And Nate, one of our friends, had broke down at a gas station. And it was like, Nate, there was probably 8 guys out on these old chopper shovel heads, some pan heads. And I was like, holy fuck. And I drove my truck over there. And Nate's like, "Hey, I need some .5 or whatever." I'm like, "Dude, I got some. Jump in my car." Took them to my house in West Dallas, brought them back, filled them up, sent them on their way. Half a week later, I show up at the shop, and they're like, "Hey, man, we want to invite you to come into our shop. Like, that shit's cool. You seems like you've been doing this for a
Like,
while."
you got
And
a
I
lot
was
of
like,
.5.
and I was like, "Yeah, I've been doing this a lot longer than many of you guys, but I love what the fuck you guys are doing. It was killer." So I immediately went in and just started making friendships with those dudes, and it was cool because a lot of those guys came out of the skate world,
Yeah.
you know, and early on, and just kind of levitated to it. So
Who's still floating around, right? Like Nate's around,
Nate's
Cody,
around,
and
Cody, yep, all those dudes.
you know,
Dana just built a
Dana.
shovel, yeah.
should do it. We should do
We
a
need a
Valley.
valley. We need a valley. This is a again a parallel that's been coming up. The valley. Mm-hmm. Who's the quintessential valley person?
That one's hard to say because there was 13 of us, and that was before. And again, this isn't anything remarkable, but it was just very fucking unique time. That's when I met Warren, and just all the people that I kind of hold close to me now. I met at that point in my life, and it was badass. It was really cool because it was just this. Or I hate to use the word organic, but it was just a bunch of kids that thought something was
Kids.
cool and got into it.
Kids, you were 40.
Carlos was 40. Everybody else was.
Man, I was 47 when I met him. But no, I'm just saying, it was cool to see these guys getting down that way, and they actually had a good fucking vibe. And then from them, I met guys in Alabama and, you know, the people that we know now. And it was cool. It was before there was really I don't know what you would even call it now. I don't know. It was just early on. So it was cool to be amongst those guys and doing that kind of shit.
Carlos, I feel that we've just scratched the surface
I'm so sorry.
with what's going on with you.
I've fucking
We've never
apologize.
addressed the energy that you're in tune with.
Yeah.
We never addressed your kid.
Oh, my son, Jonah.
There's definitely room for like bringing your kid in and your
Or my
old
dad,
man
yeah.
do it again.
And your
right?
dad,
like there's
yeah,
no
for sure.
Yeah.
We just keep you're a local staple and
Absolutely.
somebody that is a supporter and a brother. Like why not?
And
For
you,
sure.
you just went out to Trog.
Yeah,
And
I
some
ended up
national
getting,
press,
yeah, I got
national energy.
Yeah, I ended up getting hit up by Brian Abbott. He owns Dirt Culture, and it was funny as fuck because he's such a nice guy, man. And you
I don't know if I've ever met him.
Oh my god, dude, he's a really nice dude. He's one of those dudes that's so nice that you're like, oh, you're full of shit, you know. And then I met him, and I was like, he's like, I want to sponsor you to race at Trog, and I was like, dude, I don't race, so you might want to talk to somebody else. He's like, even better, do you have a race bike? And I was like, well, yeah, I got a 1948 WR sitting here that I've been trying to race, but I keep getting rained out. And he's like, let's fucking
I
do
think
it.
you need to work a little harder.
I probably
Carlos. It's
do.
not about
I
the rain.
probably do. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Are you signed up for Flat Out Friday for the Brakeless class?
No, I am not. I'll be in the stands getting hammered, cheering everybody on.
Why don't you race and get hammered?
Well, I could do that too.
It's not per AMA rules.
It's not the worst thing. But anyways, he fucking hits me up and he's like, hey, you want to come do this? And I'm like, sure. And then I spread it out because he's like, hey, we're thinking about filming this and doing this little movie thing. So I got Mike Lang involved. I got my son involved, my whole family. And this fucker, man, he backed up every single thing he said.
Whoa,
and that is
unprecedented.
very fucking hard to find in life. And when I look at you, Warren, that's how I feel. And that's the people I want to be around. I want to be around motherfuckers doing shit. And this guy does shit. And took us out there, and I'm ready to race on the fucking beach, and a hurricane happened.
No.
So I've got washed
Every
out
time.
again, man. I should call that bike the fucking rain show or some shit.
Every time.
So yeah, I did go there, and it was still fun nonetheless. Hanging out with Mel and being out there, it was cool, really cool.
Well, we've got to wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap
I'm
this
sorry.
shit up.
I'm sorry.
Never
It's-
even really got
it's
into
Friday.
bikes or anything.
It's Friday.
pretty
We've
bad.
got
the
to
best
get to
part,
the
though,
fish
like-
fry
Yeah.
here in the city.
Wait, don't we have to run around town and pass out coasters or some shit?
Are you doing that tonight? Are we doing
We
that?
got to go to bars and pass out coasters.
Yeah,
Road trip,
we're
man.
so here's my script. We're going to go. There's 110 bars in the city of West Dallas.
Imagine that.
How many? You
Fucking
think you'll
imagine that.
How many? What?
Make? How many will you make?
Can I
Well-
get up and piss quick?
Yeah.
No, you can't piss. No, you're gonna. No, you can't.
Wait,
You can't.
you can't
You can't
piss.
piss. You
Okay,
can't piss.
I'll stay right here.
We're gonna hit 104.
This is so
110
brutal,
bars.
dude. I will.
that while you're talking.
I definitely will.
And we're gonna make content out of it. So that those of you that are following our channels, that's what you're going to see.
Is
Now-
is that happening tonight or that was
No,
that
it's
was
not gonna happen tomorrow night.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you have to pee.
I've had to piss for a while, dude. This tequila really fucking.
And
went
we
through
haven't
me.
had to piss.
I'm sure. You
Let's have some
I'm
empathy
sure you
here.
have.
Can I tell you?
You
Sorry.
started 40, dude.
Can I tell you?
You definitely have to piss, bro.
I just burped in the microphone. Proc.
Did
I'm
you
sorry.
again?
Yeah. That was the only one I did the whole time.
You're gonna send him through the roof, man.
I don't have a large penis, but I have a huge bladder. If that accounts for anything. If that,
That might be the best thing
Wait,
said all
do women like that?
Shit, that sucks
Yeah,
because I
dude,
got a
absolutely.
small penis and a small bladder.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that's double jeopardy, man.
Damn it.
I have no
conclusion,
penis. I'm like a Ken doll. I just
Thanks,
piss out my
Carlos.
ass.
Unraveling you and you're again. I like your energy, your articulation of how things go. Being not only a fireman but a leader in the
Your
fireman
kid was on our.
community.
He was our fire.
I know,
watch.
I know, dude. Putting Jonah in charge of Firewatch.
When he
is-
was
is-
he was he even?
He was in the fucking cadet program.
Yeah.
He was like taking a 5th grader and being like, all right, run recess. Literally. It's fucking hysterical.
Right.
Go
that
ahead,
was
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
shoestring.
Well, that's it. We're wrapping up. So don't forget, again, I got to remind people to like our page, comment if you have any questions
Subscribe.
here for Carlos.
Ding the bell.
I'll be back.
Ding the bell, and not all of our formats of social media. This is available on Spotify, And what are the other
Everywhere.
mediums?
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
YouTube.
YouTube and Spotify.
I swear to God,
and
I'm
what
gonna
else
piss
is
my
there?
fucking pants when I get out of here, man. I gotta piss so fucking bad.
We're everywhere.
We're on everything.
We're everywhere.
Is that a wrap, man?
We'll follow it on everything.
I have to fuck.
Hang on a second. I want to tell you one more thing.
Holy fuck
This is only going to take.
It's not
gonna
fucking
take a-
cool what you're doing right now,
It's only going to
Jeremy.
take about 45 minutes.
DJ.
One time when I was a boy,
I'm out of
growing
here,
up on
motherfucker.
Thurston,
I'm out of here.